Hello, Christian caregivers. Welcome back to Leslie Bostick Life Coaching's Friday follow-up. So we've been on this educational journey through Dr. Gary Chapman's book, The 5 Love Languages of Teenagers. And this week we're focusing on the love language quality time. So Monday in my blog, I talked a lot about active listening, and Dr. Chapman shares several tips in his book during this chapter about what it means to actively listen and how do we do that. So I shared those with you and challenged you to pick one to practice this week with a tween or teen in your life. And I hope that that's been going really well for you. So I also promised in my blog on Monday that today I would focus on the second part of those quality conversations, which is just one way that we can spend quality time with our teens, and that's when we get to do the talking. So we're going to talk today about how do we respond and not react, right? And then I will touch at the very end of my video on quality activities. So what do we need to keep in mind when we're planning those to spend quality time with our teens? So in order for us to really respond effectively with our teens when we're having these quality conversations, we need to respond with empathy. So what does empathy sound like? Empathy sounds like, wow, if I were in your shoes, I think I'd be feeling, fill in the blank, that way too. This validates their feelings. It also gives them the chance to say, no, I'm not feeling upset. I'm disappointed or I'm scared. So this makes sure that the lines of communication between you and your teen are on the same page, right? So we're truly understanding them, and that's what they're looking for. We can also ask reflective questions. So when they share something, maybe we're not quite sure yet exactly how they're feeling, we can say, how does it make you feel when she fill in the blank? And this puts the ball back in your teen's court to open up even more. So asking those open-ended questions is an excellent way for you to respond effectively. Then, once you're clear and your teen knows that you've been listening and you've validated their feelings, ask them, would you like some advice? Sometimes they might say, no, I just needed you to listen, Mom. I feel so much better. And we need to respect that and say, okay, I'm glad that you feel better. I'll be praying for you. If anything changes and you decide that you do want to talk some more about this, I will always be here for you. Leave that line of communication open. But if they do want advice, when you ask for permission to share, this really boosts their sense of independence and their newfound or their finding identity. So they absolutely love this. They really appreciate it. And many times when we want to give advice, we tend to say, well, you should, or did you think about? And Dr. Chapman says that's more like preaching instead of teaching. So instead of those you statements that may put your teen on the defense, we need to use I statements and say things like, I feel worried that if you make this choice, A, B, and C might happen. I want you to be happy, but I'm concerned that. So using those I statements keeps them from getting really defensive, right? When you're trying to share your wisdom. The other thing that I found really helpful for me is just to be open and honest. So if they ask for your advice and you've gone through something similar, or maybe one of your friends has confided in you that they went through something like this during their tween or teen years, you can share that with them and let them know, hey, I'm not perfect. I didn't do this the best when I was your age. They're really going to appreciate that you're being authentic. And then that lets them know that you don't expect them to be perfect either. But what you can challenge them to do is to learn from your mistakes rather than making the same one. And I really find that this works well with my kiddos, so I'm confident that it will work well with yours too. Sometimes when we're having quality conversations with our teens, they may ask for something and you don't really feel like that's a good option for them. So rather than responding with, "because I said so," and really shutting that communication line down, you can respond by saying, "let me explain to you why I'm concerned that." And then again, this is more of a teaching moment versus a preaching moment. So that'll keep those lines of communication open for you. And each of these strategies will continue as you practice them to become easier and keep those lines of quality conversation open, so that if your teen's love language, primary love language, is quality time, they're eager to talk with you and you're engaging in those really meaningful conversations that they'll carry with them for years and years. So I want to switch gears a little bit now and move from quality conversations to quality activities. And Dr. Chapman says the most important thing to keep in mind when you're planning quality time with your tween or teen is, what do they want to do? And you have to be careful that you include your teen in the planning of those details, because they may have wanted to make plans with their friends and then you spur a new activity on them this weekend and they're like, sorry mom, I'd rather go out with my friends because they're going to A, B, or C. And then your feelings end up hurt and then they might feel guilty, so it sort of backfires on you. So include your teen in the planning. This also really boosts their independence and they appreciate it. Plus, they may have kind of changed what they want to do. Maybe last year for the annual father-son trip, you guys went fishing for the last 3 or 4 years. And now your son's like, I'm not really into fishing anymore, Dad. Let's go to Topgolf. So make sure that whatever it is that you're planning, you include your teen or tween, and it's something that they love to do. Not necessarily what you love to do, but you choose to do it with them because that's what they want to do for their quality time. I'm confident that the information in these videos and my blogs will continue to bless you and the tween or teen in your life. So thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to like my video on YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn, and share so we can touch more lives. I hope you have an amazing weekend and God bless.